Hey guys, this is Cam from 15.
Roger.
I was waiting for your little thing, but okay. And I'm joined by my friend, the Red Wolf. How are you doing today, friend?
Oh, just peachy, my friend. Just peachy, my friend. I still have to take in what you just said to me earlier. I'm not gonna include that in the video. Don't worry.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, nevertheless, we're here for another One Piece arc review. And we're so close to the halfway point. We're so close. We only have two more arcs after we make this video, and then we're at the halfway point of the series, I guess you could say. Well, it is the halfway point of the series because it's essentially the last few arcs before the post time skip. And yeah, so the next few videos, I don't know. Well, depends how we'll make this video long, but next video might be probably one of the longest arc review videos we'll have because we're talking about two of the major arcs, which next week will be Impel Down and Marineford, and that's a whole bunch of can of worms right there. Yes. So we're essentially starting the arc where, well, we start this little, you know, video because we're doing the Sabaody Archipelago arc and the Amazon Lily arc, which is the start of the amazingly Summit War Saga, which, can I just say, a bunch of emotions are very high when you get to this arc. I could tell you that when I was first watching this, I was like, I don't even know what to feel anymore. I just don't know what to feel. From, I guess you could say, the whole introduction to the Celestial Dragons, and then the hecticness of the Kizaru stuff and the pacifistas, and then the whole Straw Hat crew essentially looking like they're all been killed. Well, in reality, warped away. And then, the Boa Hancock stuff with how funny that thing. And then, when you get to the Impel Down / Marineford, it gets serious and tense. And then once you get to the tail end of Marineford, you're just crying.
Mm-hmm.
So, this arc, man, this is the arc that changed the game for One Piece going forward in terms of the stakes here. And when we talk about Marineford, we will talk about the Ace death because it's like, when we talk about it, I'm just going to get onto a little bit. I'm really shocked that they actually went that route to kill a very important character off like that.
Still heartbreaking. It's still heartbreaking. No matter how many times I get it.
Yeah. Like I said, that was only a quick little thought, but when we get to that video next week, we'll expand more on how we felt about the Ace death and how even until today they still even hint at it. The last hint we got in Revelation to Ace's little thing, even though he's been dead, well, unless you're reading the Ace novels right now going on, which tells Ace's little side story before he joins the Whitebeard Pirates, it's more understanding there are really the last thing in terms of the animated content. I guess you can say is the Wano arc backstory with Ace and Otama, but morally, I would say the last big thing we got from Ace in terms of the anime was probably the One Piece Stampede movie at the end, which I really did love that callback. I know you loved it a whole lot when you saw it. So
yeah, I did.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about that stuff. We're here to talk about, like I said, the topic state, which is the Sabaody Archipelago arc and the Amazon Lily arc, which are the first two arcs that start off the Summit War Saga. Morally, Sabaody Archipelago, which, man, it seems like it starts off so great and so, wonderful. And then by the end, you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. That's exactly my reaction.
So, we brought this up in our Thriller Bark, and heck, we even mentioned it a little bit in our Ennis Lobby video. We said, yeah, after Ennis Lobby, it's probably the last time the Straw Hats are actually dominant on somebody for a while, and they actually, I guess you could say, win fairly well. Thriller Bark, they damn near struggled and almost lost their lives just to get away from what's his name? What? He's so bad. I forgot his name. Shoot. What the hell, man? Come on, Gecko Moria.
Spend
Huh?
them?
No, Gecko Moria, Thriller Bark.
Oh yeah, get them.
And then, like I said, they barely outlasted Kuma. And this is the arc where it's like, oh, everybody else that shows up, the Straw Hats get mollywopped. With the exception of those Marines Luffy, Law, and Kid took out. But after that, it's like, oh no. Anything you see going on here, the Straw Hat Pirates will molly slash Luffy because Luffy is integral to this part of the story. He doesn't get a lot of wins here. If not, he's always fighting for his damn life, which, after I look past this entire saga, I'm shocked that he still made it past this point. So, anyways, we start off the Summit War Saga, the Sabaody Archipelago arc by the Straw Hats finally reaching the red line, or the other half of the red line. And because the red line has no ways like the last time they went up to get into the Grand Line, Reverse Mountain, which we're told later by Hachi, the only way you can get to the New World is either through Fishman Island, or you have to somehow get government access to Marigeoise, which pirates wouldn't be able to do that. So that's when they turn back because they realize it's like there's no point in frickin' doing this because we're just gonna crash and burn. So now they get into one of the shark submarines to see if there's any openings in. I heard my dog. Sorry, guys. Seeing if there's any openings in the red line or a hole or something, and they run into a Sea King. Rabbit-like Sea King, and Luffy hits it, and then pops out a certain mermaid character, which is probably integral to this part of the arc as well, which is Kami, and her lovely starfish friend, not Patrick, Papa Goo.
Oh my god, I knew someone was gonna make that remark someday.
Yes. Now Kami, because we were hinted at this before. Even though technically the first mermaid character we saw was in Sanji's cases, I can't bear to look at that old woman, which was Granny Kokoro, which was the first mermaid. They saw, and obviously Sanji likes Kami a lot because she's very attractive. I'm not trying to say she's not attractive. I definitely would love to be around Kami because she seems like a very good personality type of person. And she's obviously, on the top part of her side, is very attractive. Again.
This man is thirsty, literally.
Like I said, she also has a friend named Papagoo, who's like her starfish little buddy. I guess you could say I don't know, her little right-hand fish man. But now, anyways, they talk, and essentially, she says she works with Hachan, which is Hachi from the Arlong Pirates, and they do a takoyaki stand together and stuff like that. Now, what happened is they find out is that there were these pirates called the Macro Pirates captured him, and then they're going to sell him into slavery on the archipelago. Now, the thing, we'll get into it later. So, anyways, for the moment, we find out he's held by these guys named the Flying Fishmen. And this was one of the few times it was one of the few times I was laughing out loud when we get revealed who the leader looks like. Or Duvall looks like. And would you care to explain how he looks like?
Exactly how Sanji's picture was like on his bounty picture. And let's just say Sanji's reaction was priceless.
And essentially, he blames Sanji for this thing because he was like, I was just chilling, and then the Marines come after me. And he wants to beat Sanji up really bad. Now, the funny thing is Sanji gives him a few kicks later in this whole altercation, which totally alters his face into a handsome stud, which I find hilarious. But if you want to call him a handsome stud, go ahead.
You forgot to say no homo.
Okay. No homo.
That's what you usually tell me whenever I mention a handsome boy. No homo.
Now, like I said, they managed to save Hachi. Now, the thing is, before they even save Hachi completely, they stopped to think about it because obviously we know the past with Hachi and the Arlong Pirates with Nami. And the Nami's not so gung-ho about trying to save somebody who kind of tormented her life, like all those years ago. And she is like, yeah, we're not helping him, despite if you have any relations to him and stuff like that. Like, to the point, they even go up against Kami. They're like, why? He treated us so disrespectfully. Even Sanji, obviously, a Nami lover, is like taking her side in this whole thing. But they eventually are like, okay, we'll be nice guys for once and we'll save your friend Hachi. And after doing that, Hachi makes them takoyaki that they love a lot. And essentially, Hachi, he eventually apologizes to the rest of the Straw Pirates, mostly Nami, for what he did. And you could say she kind of forgives him for this. So obviously it's a nice little character moment for Nami in terms of, okay, you may have done these terrible things to me in the past, and I probably might not want to forgive you, but at least you're man enough to apologize and admit that what you did was wrong. And I guess you could say it was good for Nami to essentially take, I guess you can say, the high road and accept his apology for it. What did you think of that whole thing? Because I know when we get to Fishman Island, they bring this type of thing back up with Jinbei and Nami in terms of their relation and that backstory. But what did you think about this when she finally, accepted his apology and I guess you could say forgave Hachi and became cool with him going forward?
I'm just glad that. Oh my God. When I first saw Hachi, I was like, oh, was there like going to be like another conflict or? But I'm glad like Hachi is like one of those sincere types and all that stuff. And yeah.
Did you like that Nami not apologize, but accepted the apology?
Yeah. I was about to say that.
Yeah, I think for both of us, if we had somebody in our past do pretty hurtful things to us, I think it would take me knowing me with how I am, it would take a lot, and I mean a lot of sheer like understandment to like even think about even saying, no, okay, I forgive you. Even though it is told that you should forgive everybody despite the cost. Or whatever they do in your past. I don't know if that's about you. I don't know if you would do the same thing, but for me, it definitely would be hard. Mm-hmm. I would probably be like, I don't know if I can still forgive you.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah. I think in this situation for Nami, it worked best. Like I said, this isn't that's why I kind of like the whole thing when they reintroduce the Fishman stuff, because it really does bring up Nami's past. And like I said, we'll speak more about this too when we get to the Jinbei little stuff with her and Nami in Fishman Island, because that's pretty significant too, in terms of Nami forgiving Fishman and stuff like that. Because you can honestly say if Nami didn't meet the Straw-Eyed Pirates, she'd probably be treating the Fishmen like regular humans, and One Piece probably treat Fishmen like. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, what they do is they tell Hachi, like, yeah, we're going to go to Fishman Island to get into the new world. And essentially he's like, oh, so, okay, that seems cool. That's fine. We can definitely go with you and stuff like that. But the thing is, you're going to have to get a special coding to access Fishman Island because it's under the water and stuff like that. So he says we can go to the Sabaody Archipelago because he knows somebody that he knows somebody that can give him the special coding and stuff like that. Now, like I said earlier, Hachi even says once they get to the archipelago, is they're saying the only way they can get to the new world is either going to Fishman Island or somehow, like I said earlier, letting the government let you have access into Marigeois just to get into the new world. And I don't think the government would allow that to pirates, to say the least, and stuff like that. And plus, I guarantee you, knowing Marigeois, you have to probably pay some crazy fee just to even get up into that land, because it's ruled by the Celestial Dragons, which starts the introduction of that stuff. Now, anyways, like I said, they're going to need a coding and stuff like that. Now, the interesting thing Hachi says is, now since the Sabaody Archipelago is essentially next to the Red Line and so close to the world nobles or the Celestial Dragon's homeland, Marigeois, it's not, out of the picture to say you would probably see a Celestial Dragon walking in the archipelago with what we see later in this arc, their slaves and stuff like that. And Hachi tells us, our pirates, listen, you have to make this promise. You will not, and I mean you will not, get involved with these people. You have to promise me on that. And the Stride Pirates eventually promise. Now, that promise is kind of broken when we get to the auction house, but okay. For the time being, they have a promise they have to fulfill. Now, they have to go to this one grove where the special coding person is at, and like typical Zoro, which I believe they have to go to Grove. Now, they're eventually going to Grove 41, but Zoro literally mistakes Grove 14 for 41. Yeah. Typical Zoro. Anyways, we cut back to Luffy's group, and we see just a person with a collar on his neck. And, he's asking for help. He wants to see his family, and that he used to be a pirate, but he just wants to see his family again. And Hachi says, look, you can't help him because that's one of the slaves I was talking about, or he's a slave to one of the world nobles / celestial dragons. Now, essentially, this is when we get to see probably the most hated characters in anime, probably the entire anime universe, because they're so pent up, stuck up, and just, I don't know, hateful. And you could say probably the most hated people in all of the One Piece world. Mm-hmm. And that is the Celestial Dragons. I don't know how you can top what they did, because they literally probably made these probably the most hated anime characters in the history of anime. Mm-hmm. So guess what that happens to the slave after he kind of runs away from one of the Celestial Dragons? Oh, he gets shot for it. No mercy, no mercy. He gets shot for it. Now, well, we'll talk more about the Celestial Dragons later. Now, Luffy, he sees this and he's pissed. But then that's when Hachi stops him like, no, you can't help him. Because if you attack them, they can call a Marine Admiral on site if you hit them or do anything to them. Which is obviously not good. Because we know in terms of power scaling, in terms of just levels of strength, the Marine Admirals are something that is, you got to take serious. They're no joke. They will mess you up and stuff like that. Now, Hachi goes into more details and say the Celestial Dragons are essentially the descendants of the people of the, very first are the starters of the people who made the world government, which explains why they're so snobby and they see everybody else essentially as common trash. And they see themselves as higher up beings because they feel like they come from this whole higher statue, because how essentially to them, Marigeois is essentially their version of heaven.
Yep.
And heck, what can I say? They say Marigeois is so high in the sky, nobody knows how high it is. So technically, it is like heaven in the One Piece world. Now, the only problem is there ain't no angels up there. It's like devils all up there just in the sky. So, yeah. Now, they eventually get to a bar with this person named, now I didn't put her full name because it was too hard to say, but named Shocky. And yes, you can say she's a snack. She's fine with me, but okay. Now Shaki reveals to the crew that she used to be a pirate herself, and she's actually a friend of Hachi. Now she also says like she back in her day as a pirate, she was also followed a lot by Garp at a point in her life, which is very interesting. That Luffy's grandfather chased at her, so she must have been a very devious pirate in her heyday.
Yeah.
I know. I think there's more backstory on like some SBSs of One Piece in terms of Shaki. I haven't looked that up, but yeah. Now, she goes on to say, well, it's great that you're here, but you need to be careful because there are 11 other pirates that are here with bounties over 100 million. Luffy being ranked second. And this is when we get the introduction to these Supernovas, which are obviously pirates we all, see definitely not a lot, certain amount of pirates in the post time skip that get featured, even though there have been some of them that are not featured as much. Now, I did happen to put them all down and put their bounties. Now, Capone Gang Beji, who I adored and loved in Whole Cake Island, he honestly became, after I saw Whole Cake Island, became a fan favorite for me. Definitely love the fact that they gave him a lot of screen time there. That was essentially his Supernova arc, if you want to know. His bounty at this current point in time is 138 million berry bounty. The next person, Jewelry Bonney, who is also called the Big Eater Jewelry Bonney because she eats a lot. And in the One Piece world, she is the only known girl pirate captain. Again, she's definitely a snack. And I definitely would join her crew.
Do we know for sure how she looks like for real though? I mean, she could have just used her devil fruit to make her, look the way she does.
That is true. Okay. Okay. First things first. Okay. Now, okay. Hold on a second. First things first, Jewelry Bonney. She has a bounty of 140 million, berry bounty. Now, I know we're kind of going ahead. Jewelry Bonney's that kind of supernova that I'm talking about. We don't see a lot of. We don't even know her devil fruit. Well, we know her devil fruit power. We just don't know the official name of her devil fruit. And to be honest, other than Sabaody Archipelago, we've seen her only 2 times, with the exception of Stampede in the main continuity of the storyline. Well, I'm not saying Stampede's canon, but in terms of One Piece, of what we've seen. The only other 2 times is after the whole Marineford incident. She kind of gets captured by Blackbeard and then the Reverie stuff. And then if you watch Stampede, that's the only other time you see her. But other than that, you kind of don't see much of her. She's kind of that supernova that's like, well, they could focus on her, but right now they can't. But I feel like when they cut back to the Reverie stuff, they'll probably put more of focus on her. Because that's what it seems like that's going in terms of Reverie. Now, we'll speak on that when we get to our Reverie arc review. But Jewelry Bonney, yeah, her power is essentially she can de-age, make herself younger, or make herself older. Like I said, we do not know her official devil fruit name until she probably gets featured in the story, which will probably lead into the final arc, or the final, final climactic arc of One Piece. We'll probably get all those revelations. Like, there's even some, there's only like a few, really only 2, people on the Supernovas, we don't know their devil fruit powers, other official, which is the Angel guy, was the other one, I believe he has a devil fruit power. Yeah. Anyways, that's all on Jewelry Bonney. And she also has an altercation with Zoro, which we'll speak on later. The next one is Basil Hawkins, who is literally the Straw Hat Man, or the Straw Man. His bounty is 249 million berry bounty. And essentially, he's like a fortune teller type of guy because he reads into his cards and stuff like that. His design is interesting, especially when he goes into his devil fruit form.
Oh, yes. One of the most unusual ones I've seen.
Yes, and his devil fruit power, even till this day, I still do not understand what the hell that is. Which essentially is he makes his own sacrifices from his own men just so he doesn't die, essentially. And he has this really badass looking straw man or the scarecrow type of transformation type of thing, which looks really cool. So yeah. Basil Hawkins, we don't see much of him after this arc until you get to Wano. He's more featured in Wano, but I feel like when we currently get later down in Wano in terms of the anime people, we'll see more of him. Because I still feel like he hasn't done much of anything in Wano in terms of the animated content I'm seeing so far. He's just kind of been there. Heck, Drake does more than him. Well, right now, he's kind of got a law in a pickle right now, but okay. That's not good. I just remembered that. Obviously, the next one, which is the leader of the Supernovas in terms of bounty, in terms of bounty, like, price, Eustace Captain Kidd at a bounty level of 315 million berry bounty. And he's just cool because he's just Kidd.
Yep.
Although right now, currently what's happening to him in the anime, it's not too good for him. The next person is Scratchman Apu, and he has a 198 million berry bounty. Now, again, he's one of those supernovas we barely see as well. We only see him here. The whole thing with Kaido dropping from a sky island, and then I guess you could say the One Piece Stampede movie. After that, you kind of don't see him. So hopefully, we see him soon and see what he has to offer. But yeah, so anyways, the next supernova is the right hand, our first mate to the Kid Pirates, which is Killer, which sad backstory, sad tragic thing that just happened to him in the anime right now. And he has a bounty of 162 million berry bounty. Again, he's the right hand man to Kid. And his design is really cool. He has these really nice knife things. And yeah, he's just really cool now. When you find out what happens to him in Wano, you kind of feel really bad for him.
Yeah, I cannot believe that happened.
Another pirate that's in the Wano arc is X Drake, the dinosaur transforming man. I'm not going to say his devil fruit because, one, I forgot. And if you want to know his accurate devil fruit, go check out my Wano art, my One Piece anime episode reviews. And I say what his devil fruit powers is. But all I know is, he's got the dragon fruit model Allosaurus. So he can transform into an Allosaurus, which is a carnivorous dinosaur. It's not a T-Rex, even though it looks like a T-Rex. It's a different thing. His bounty is 222 million berry bounty. Again, for the time being, X-Drake, this is the only time you see him. He gets more screen time in Wano. Most definitely Wano because of his dinosaur stuff, which honestly suits him for his pirate, for what he is in Kaido's crew. So yeah. And then probably what I would say the last one that is revealed, which is definitely a fan favorite, is Trafalgar Law at 200 million berry bounties. With
Indeed. He's my man.
Yes. He's definitely a fan favorite, especially once you get to Punk Hazard. Becomes obviously one of the best characters of One Piece. When you get to that Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, and all that stuff. Like I said, right now, he's currently in a pickle, but he's definitely a fan favorite character. All I see of One Piece is people have Trafalgar Law's hat. And yeah, I would love to own that hat because that hat is pretty good looking. Now, anyways, the thing is, after just kind of going around and stuff like that, they're in kind of this carnival-like area in the archipelago, and these shady guys find out that Kami is a mermaid, and that's not good because they're going to try to kidnap her. Yes, which starts the whole chain of events from, things seem really good to, ooh, that doesn't look so good.
Mhm.
Now this is when we cut back to one of the other celestial dragons, and this one I got by name, if not one of the most hated celestial dragons, Lord Charlos. And this is his altercation he has with Zoro. Do you remember this, or do you want me to go through it?
You can go through it. Hmm.
So, anyways, now we see Charlos, who is a celestial dragon, get into a little bit of a little, I guess you can say, spat or argument with this dude who's very much injured. And essentially he sees these group of nurses and doctors essentially trying to help out this man and make sure he gets to safety. But talk about one of the most despicable things this dude does. And because this one nurse is very super cute and very attractive, he forces her to be his wife. And if it wasn't even worse than he there, one of the doctors is actually the nurse's fiance. And he's like, well, you can't do this. This is my fiance. We're about to be married. And guess what Lord Charlos does? Shoots the fiance. At this point, I was like, oh. I don't know how you were feeling, but I was definitely like, I want to hit this guy so damn bad.
Yeah, like Zoro beat his ass.
Yeah. Now, in the meantime, Zoro's seen all of this happen, and he eventually gets in the way of Charlos, and Charlos is like, who do you think you're like getting in the way? Now, the crazy thing is everybody else around is like, what is that man doing? He needs to get out of the way and stuff like that. And Charlos is like, if you're not going to get out of my way, then I'll make you. And essentially he tries to shoot at Zoro, but of course to Zoro's no avail, he blocks it and he's like, and we know Zoro, you shoot at him, he will kill you on sight. And if it wasn't thanks to a certain babe in Jewelry Bonney, our little lolly in Jewelry Bonney, saving or making.
A lolly, really?
Well, she transformed into a little girl right there.
Yeah, but I don't even know. I don't even know how she is at this point.
Again, like I said, honestly, that is true. We do not know her accurate age. I'll probably have to go along and look on the One Piece wiki and see how old she is. But anyways, yeah, Julia Bonney pretends to be like Zoro's little sister and pretends like he actually did get shot and stuff like that. And she kind of tells him, stay down, you idiot, and stuff like that. Now, Charlos thinks, oh, I guess I did shoot him. Huh, funny. And then he kind of goes on his merry way. I think also, too, he's riding on the back of this dude who later becomes a part of Trafalgar Law's crew as well. So that's not also despicable as well, too. So yeah, now, like I said, her devil fruit, like we said, I can't give it an official devil fruit name. I guess what I could predict it might be called is maybe the age fruit. That's just my guess, because she can just change her age to an old woman, heck, to a little kid like she did. And like I said, I probably have to go on the One Piece wiki to see how old she is. Actually, technically, I can check it out. So hold on a quick second. Okay, guys, back after that quick break. So I looked it up, and now she has she has the body of a 24-year-old girl. Although we do not know her actual age because she can essentially modify her age, which the interesting point is, it makes me think like, that's kind of like, well, if she can alter her age, it's almost like she's honestly immortal.
Yeah, basically. Well, except she can still take physical damage. So.
Well, yeah, of course, she can still take physical damage and die. But it's like if she gets too old, she can essentially use her devil fruit powers to turn herself back into a young, woman. And essentially all those issues she would have complicated with her old body would totally go away because, oh no, you can just turn your back into an old woman and your whole health issues would be fixed as clear as day. Man, boy, would I wish to have that devil fruit power. But then again, it would suck because, well, technically, you would have to deal with a lot of people in your family probably dying. And I don't know if
Yeah,
you
that's
probably want to be like, yeah, I don't know if I want to keep de-aging myself or going back and, re-aging myself again or de-aging myself. Because if that's the case, you'd probably be going on for generations. So, yeah, now she saves Zoro from that stuff and she tells Zoro, like, what are you doing? You know that's a celestial dragon. Do not get involved with these guys. They can call an admiral, and if they do, you're gonna get in trouble and stuff like that. Now there are some other supernovas in the area seeing this too. They're like, Zoro is quite bold. Them straw pirates could create an issue and stuff like that. Another thing that actually also shocks the other supernova pirates is Zoro actually helps out the person that got shot, the first person, not the fiance person, but he manages to help them out and stuff like that. So that is good. Now, anyways, things happen where eventually Kami does get kidnapped, and the Straw Pirates eventually find out, and Chopper tells the others that Kami's been kidnapped. Now, Robin goes on to make an interesting point by saying that 200 years ago, the race of fishmen were classified as fish, and they were always persecuted by humans because of it. Now, for a certain amount of time, the world government signed a treaty that abolished slavery throughout the Sabaody Archipelago, and they can't have be holding like these slavery things going on here. Well, that doesn't stop them from having, you would say, those underground type of, slavery type of auction things. And it's very interesting, too, because you could see, because the Sabaody Archipelago is essentially next to Marine 4, which is Marine headquarters. And to see that, one, well, it isn't bad enough that Celestial Dragons still get in on this, even though they know they signed a treaty that is totally against this. So it totally shows that they're abusing their power and they don't care. But to also see that the Marines are just letting this thing happen, it's like, well, okay. And what can they do? Because the Marines are kind of controlled by the world government. The world government tells the Marines what to do. And I'm like, so there's no order here. You're just doing whatever you want. So, and that's why I still believe the end of the day, at the end of the One Piece story, the world government will be abolished and the Marines will be the ones that kind of, you would say, run the One Piece world and make it honorable and stuff like that. Now, interesting, we see Kami, obviously, with the collar, slavery collar, as well as looking like she's about to be sold. But we also see this very interesting old man who, when cut over to Garp, because somebody told Garp, is like, yeah, this guy Silver's Rayleigh, apparently he's gonna be sold off as a slave. And Garp's like, that's funny. Don't worry about it. He can handle himself anyways. You saying?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay. Now he's like, listen, let me handle this, because Garp is like, Silver's Rayleigh is somebody you do not want to mess with, and he will kill you if you get in his way. Which, okay, I'm like,
my favorite old man right there.
Okay, yeah, well, of course, after what we know, what he does and stuff like that. Now, they eventually get to the auction site, and what happens here in this entire auction site is this. Now, actually, before this whole thing happens, there are some supernovas and there are some newspapers out there that talk about Whitebeard starting a war with the Marines because Ace will be executed, which, hints at Marineford, which is only in 3 arcs later from this arc. Now, again, they go into the auction house and they see Kami's about to be, she's up for sale, essentially, as a slave. And essentially, there's a lot of people that want her because she's a mermaid. And to say that there was a lot of guys trying to outbid her, we know what those guys are probably thinking about doing to a mermaid, or Kami. So Nami, because they can't try to do the honorable thing and try to get her out of there the respectful way. And plus, they can't say, "Oh, raid the entire thing," because, the people can call the Marines and be like, "Hey, we got some troublemakers. You need to stop them here." And plus, they're big time pirates, so they got to keep their cool and keep quiet. So that's when Nami, because they have a whole set of gold, they're like, "Okay, we're just gonna use the money we have to just try to buy her back." And this is some selfishness from Nami. She's willing to give up all the money she's earned at this point to save her friend, which is very indicative of how much Nami is as a character. Like, she'll give up a lot of gold and berries to save a friend if it comes to that point. Even though sometimes we see that she cares more about their berries than certain people. But in this case, we know what the stakes at hand. Obviously, the slavery thing, which kind of gets brought up later, and we'll speak more about this in a little bit. Well, a little bit about this for Amazon Lily, what happened to Boa and her sisters, but we won't speak in depth about this till we get to Fishman Island, which I think I can say this is the start of the whole little slavery type of arc they have here, which, man, you could compare it to what today's standards, well, not today's standards, what in today's world all those years ago in America were like.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, Nami tries to buy Kami back, and it looks like she has the upper hand. But then, the most hated characters just always have to freaking make everything worse. And essentially, they outbid Nami and are going to pay for Kami for an absurd amount of money that Nami just doesn't have. Like, I think it was like 5 million berry bounties, and Nami doesn't have anything higher than that, and stuff like that. Now, Luffy eventually gets in there by crashing in there, and he sees what's going on here. But next thing you know, they can't do nothing about it because they just lost Kami. And if things didn't get any worse, Hachi is the little disguise Hachi was wearing kind of falls off, and everybody sees that he's a fishman himself. And that's when the Celestial Dragons become even more despicable than they already are. And what do they do, Denzel? What do they do to poor Hachi?
They shot him.
Would you like to talk about this train of events which you were so heated and then you just saw Luffy do something that you probably just praised?
Yeah, when Hachi got shot at, when Luffy got pissed, Hachi just begged Luffy not to do it, and that's where Hachi starts speaking his heart out. Like, he always sees himself as a failure and stuff, and Luffy just couldn't hold it in. He slowly starts walking towards the Celestial Dragon with a pissed look at his face, and the Celestial Dragon's all like, "You're making me mad" and all that stuff, and starts shooting at Luffy, but Luffy's just so.
Can I just say this too? If you're watching the anime, they play even a pissed off type of theme music in this thing. Go on.
Must I say anymore? Luffy does Luffy stuff, and he punched that out of the despicable Celestial Dragon.
To say that was probably the most satisfying punch in anime history. I know there's been so many times in other animes that there's been that type of satisfying punch that needed to happen to a character really bad. But I'm sorry. This is number one. Like, literally, this is the most satisfying punch ever.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I was like, I'm not even mad. He had it coming to him. Broke the glass bubble head, or SpongeBob Patrick type of bubble king here, and broke that thing and punched the ever living you know what out of that dude. And yeah, so this is also when things get crazy from bad to worse. And it's funny because you have Kid and Law just sitting in the crowd. They're like, So these are the Straw Hat Pirates. They really are a crazy bunch from what I heard. And stuff like that. Now, what happens next is they actually run into Silver's Rayleigh after everybody like all leaves and stuff like that. And Rayleigh manages to get Kami out of the little collar because we find out that he's actually knows Hachi and he's friends with Hachi and stuff like that. So yeah, so next thing you know, obviously the Celestial Dragons called the admirals and the Marine, well, an admiral, and the Marines essentially are running amok across the thing. And this is when we get just hecticness going on. One, we see probably one of the more iconic scenes of One Piece is the three major captains, I guess you could say, showing off their powers, you know, to each other and saying how much they're going to be the best pirate on the seas and stuff like that, which I loved the banter between the three of them. You know, you have Law with his Ape Ape no Mi, which is his devil fruit, which in the English translation is the Op fruit. Now we still do not know what Kid's official devil fruit name is, even till this day. But his devil fruit power is essentially magnetism, and anything magnetic, he can form into a gigantic, you know, arm and fist and essentially unleash all hell on somebody. So yeah, still pretty both, you know, really cool, you know, devil fruit powers. Law's devil fruit power is probably one of the most crazy devil fruits because he can essentially like cut limbs without you feeling anything. Because yeah, you know. Anyways, yes, the famous room in shambles. But yeah, can I just say this? I do like his Japanese voice. Now if you do watch the English dub, he's obviously voice acted by the amazingly Matthew Mercer in the dub. And if you're a fan of Matthew Mercer, there you go. And I personally love his voice. I love Matthew Mercer's interpretation of Law. And again, like I said, Matthew Mercer does a bunch of other pretty badass roles. He's also Hit from Dragon Ball Super. So, you know, he has Law to his little thing. So that's even much more better because Law honestly fits his type of character, the way he speaks. So, yes. Yeah. Anyways, we see that one of the admirals that are showing up is Admiral Kizaru. He's the one admiral that is sent to the archipelago. Now, another thing too is now you also see these Kuma-like robots show up, which are called pacifistas, which were built and invented by the famous doctor we still have yet to see, other than that one scene in the show, Dr. Vegapunk, which I don't think we'll see till literally the last arc of One Piece. So yeah. Now, the other pirates are kind of dealing with that stuff going on. The Straw Hat Pirates and the others kind of go back to their home base, well, to the bar with Rayleigh. And obviously Rayleigh kind of has been living out there with Shocky. And I kid you not, you cannot convince me that Shocky and Rayleigh are an item and they're not married or in some sort having some sort of relationship. I don't know if that's you, but they have to have some sort of relationship going on.
Didn't she say that her husband was out there? Isn't that husband of hers actually raped?
Well, they never confirmed that, you know, that they're like a married thing, but it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if they're actually like a legit like item together and they have gotten married. So, you know, maybe after they retired as go ahead.
They gotta be, I said.
Oh yes. Maybe after they just retired as pirates, they found each other and like, we're doing nothing special. I guess the least thing we can do is have marriage and be together. So it is what it is. So because I don't know, there's a lot of One Piece fans that say, isn't Rayleigh and Shocky like some kind of couple? I definitely believe they're a couple. They have to be a couple. They have to be a couple. And if they're not, I think that's honestly a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. This is so. Anyways, we get the revelations of Rayleigh and his true character, and really what kind of happened to Roger essentially in his final days. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We won't get the full, well, not the full backstory, but the last few bit of Roger's voyage to the One Piece in the Wano backstory in terms of the Oden backstory, because I will cover Oden, which is Momonosuke's father, Roger, because Oden traveled with Roger for a time being after traveling with Whitebeard. So you kind of get a little bit of the past of One Piece when we get to that part, and I can't wait to see that part animated, because I heard a lot of good things about that backstory. So anyways, Rayleigh says that he was in Roger's crew because, one, he was the very first mate of Roger's crew, and he was one of the very first crew member of Roger's crew. The one thing is, Sanji brings up the mention is like, so it's interesting that you guys were obviously the most dominant pirate crew at your time. Why did Roger obviously get captured and stuff like that? Or how did Roger get captured? Because Sanji's like, I find it hard to believe that, knowing Roger, how would he get so easily captured like that? And Rayleigh's like, oh, the Marines didn't capture him. The Marines are trying to make it sound like they did. Because, hey, it's the Marines. They always want to try to make things look better than it already is, to instill, I guess, hope in the civilians that they are actually doing their job. But they're not doing their job. I can tell you back, because they had pirates, in terms of Luffy, defeating a whole damn warlord, which saved another country. So, yeah. Now, yeah. Now, Rayleigh says what happened with Roger is this. Now, 4 years ago, 4 years before, their final journey, what is it? 4 years before the execution, Roger had a disease that was uncurable, and you couldn't treat it and save Roger's life. And essentially what he did is, after their final journey, after they found the One Piece, he essentially just turned himself in willy-nilly, and he was like, you guys can take me in. I kind of completed my job. So stuff like that. Now, an interesting point is, we find out that Old Man Crocus, yes, all the way back from Reverse Mountain, actually joined their crew for the time being, so he can monitor Roger's health and make sure he was fine, because obviously we know he was a doctor and stuff like that. And they also bring another mention of the fact is that, Crocus was probably traveled with the Roger Pirates, because he's probably also looking for the pirate crew, which was Brooks' crew, which was the Rumbar Pirates, to hopefully tell them about Laboon and everything and stuff like that. More things in this thing are revealed to the Strides. They also revealed, Luffy is finally revealed that Buggy and Shanks were once a part of Roger's crew, and stuff like that. And Shanks, who actually saw Rayleigh a few years later, talked to him about Luffy, how Luffy was, and how he sees that Luffy might be the next big pirate that will lead them into the next generation, which is another big thing about this arc. Forgetting the past generation, moving into the new generation, or the new age of the pirate era. The one thing too, he also brings up about the Void Century, and he says that yes, it's true, because Robin asked Rayleigh, does Roger, did your pirate crew know the entire Void Century history? And Rayleigh's like, oh yeah, we knew the entire Void Century history, but you probably should find out on your own and stuff like that. Now Rayleigh is like, now if you want to know what it's like, what it was, I'll tell you. And Robin respectfully is like, nah, I think I'll take your advice and find the information all on my own, which obviously is a Robin trait. And it's still, like I said, to this day, one of the most question mark things. What happened in the very, very hundreds of years ago in the One Piece world, which I don't think they'll get on till literally the final arc of One Piece, which will probably be the final backstory of One Piece, and they better go all out with that backstory as well, and stuff like that. Now, Rayleigh does say is like, no, it's what your interpretation of the Void Century is. We might have got some things wrong, but if you feel like, your opinion's different from us and our Void Century, then hey, by all means, believe what you want to believe. So Rayleigh's obviously a really respectful guy, and I'm like, okay, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. I can get behind this old man, and stuff like that. Now, another big thing is, Usopp brings a match. Is like, okay, he's like, wait, if you were in Roger's crew, that means you've seen the One Piece. Wait, do you know where exactly the One Piece is? And then that's when Luffy kind of does the typical thing Luffy does, and he kind of shuts up Usopp. He's like, shut up, dude. I do not want to know anything about the One Piece. I want to find this on my own, because essentially Luffy's belief is it would kill the whole purpose of the journey if I just knew where it was, and I might as well just go home if I knew where it was and I knew what it was. And, that's the good thing. That actually brought it to Rayleigh's eyes, and he's like, okay. This dude is like kind of similar to Roger and stuff like that. Now, this is one of the interesting things about, huh?
It's probably the D.
Yeah. This is one of the most interesting aspects of Luffy's character. The fact, we see it time and time again. Heck, we've seen it in the One Piece Stampede movie, where there was a legit log post to the island of Raftel where the One Piece is at, and he breaks it because Luffy wants no, I guess you could say, handicaps to getting to the One Piece. I really respect that for Luffy. I really respect that, because I think anybody would just be like, yeah, I want that advice. I'll take that advice, and I'll just find it on my own. So I guess I could say, did you like that part when Luffy just shot Usopp down? It's like, dude, I want to find this on my own.
Mm-hmm. So far, Luffy has been doing some pretty interesting decisions that I don't think any normal person would do.
Well, yes, of course. Okay. Now, I barely have any notes for what happens next, because essentially it's all out pandemonium from going here on out. So first things first, we legit got Admiral Kizaru riding on fucking cannonballs. I don't even want to tell you what I saw when I saw that. I was like, okay, we're screwed now. We got guys riding on cannonballs now. How are they gonna stop this? Now, before the whole thing happens, before this whole hectic thing happens, is Shocky gives all the Striped Pirates a Beaver card to essentially meet back up within 3 days to let everything die down. So they're all going to go into hiding, essentially. Split their own separate ways for the time being, go meet up back at Shocky's bar, and essentially, let everything die down for the next couple of days. But they kind of get caught in the crossfire because they run into a damn pacifista. Yeah. Now, Kizaru and Sentomaru show up, which Sentomaru is the guy that's ordering around the pacifistas. Now, one thing also, Kizaru and Sentomaru, which is the little chubby fat man with the little stupid bowl haircut or whatever you can call a haircut that is. Yeah, that's Kizaru is his uncle. Yeah, so they're related. So I guess it runs in the family that two people would join the Marines. Now, Kizaru's devil fruit is the Pika Pika no Mi, which in the English translation is the Glint Glint fruit. I don't know why it's not called the Light fruit, but okay. I'll take it for what it is. Now, Kizaru is shown here to be very powerful because he actually fights one of the Supernovas. He almost kills Zoro here if it wasn't for Rayleigh showing up at the last second. And also, he's a Logia type devil fruit user, so the Striped Pirates, when they encounter him, they can't hit him because they don't have hockey yet. Go ahead.
That just that derpy looking guy.
Oh, yeah. Kizaru's personality, man.
I mean, I don't hate him. Just his derpy personality just kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, Kizaru's personality is like, well, you see, I could do that, but I'm not. But I guess I will. You know, he kind of has that laid back personality, that attitude, like it shows like he doesn't care, but he'll still do it regardless. You know, he is a very interesting character. Um, and you could say he probably has one of the type of voices where you could probably say he has a very like feminine type of voice for a male. Whether it's the subbed or dubbed version.
It's pretty masculine in this version, in my opinion. I
Oh,
don't know about you.
I guess you can say, but you know, it's Kizaru. He has some pretty cool shades, though. I will say that.
How does the dub version sound? That's my question.
Kind of how I just spoke about it. He's like, well, you see, I could do that. It kind of sounds like that. I'll have to send you a clip of Kizaru English dub. But yeah, Kizaru, you know, even though he's laid back, he's very powerful. Like, you don't want to mess around with this dude. Again, like I said, he has pretty cool shades. So that's something for him. Now, like I said, the Straw Hat Pirates, they fight against one pacifista. One. And they barely, I mean on their lives, barely get past one pacifista. And when I mean the Straw Hat Pirates, this is one of the few times we see the Straw Hat Pirates all together work together on one enemy, which I believe is the only way how they're going to defeat any Emperor of the Sea, which is my prediction on how they're going to defeat Kaido and Big Mom. This is one of the few times we see them working together as a unit. Like, and they barely got past a pacifista. I'm looking at this, I'm like, bro, they're not ready, dude. I'm like, if this is supposed to be their level cap, it's essentially like this. Have you watched the Shield Hero anime? It's like the part when Nafumi and his party were at the limit, their level limit. And they're going up against like level higher limits than guys that they are barely getting past. Or essentially in a more common way. In Pokemon terms, since I love Pokemon. It's like the Straw Hat Pirates are a level, I would say 35, and you're going up against a level 55 or 60. And you somehow just keep restocking hyper potion after hyper potion after hyper potion, and you just barely win the battle. Mm-hmm. That's what it was like for these guys. And I'm like, so how strong is the New World again? So your thoughts on the pacifista versus Straw Hat battle?
Bro, when you mentioned that one time you mentioned that the power scaling is going to be on a different level, I didn't think it would be that much. I was like, don't tell me they're gonna when the title said that the Straw Hats are completely wiped out, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Man. Now, see, if you watch One Piece, you know that they lived through this point in time. But damn, just imagine reading the manga version or watching the anime like when it first came out. You're probably having all these people like, are they really dead? I guarantee you can have a lot of Japanese, people reading the manga for the first time. They're like, and stuff like that. And this is when we get to one of the emotional parts, if not the emotional part of this arc. And that is the Straw Hat crew essentially being disbanded / forced away. And you just see the real Bartholomew Kuma essentially just get his hand up and just swipes at all of them. And one by one, he's picking all of them off, you know. And you just see Luffy going through all of this. Heck, Luffy to some point, at one point, he's like, we need to run. We can't fight these guys. They're too strong for us, which is crazy enough for Luffy to say that because, you know, Luffy is the type of character that doesn't back down from anybody. This is the first time Luffy has said, we can't handle these guys. Run, we'll meet up in 3 days, and stuff like that. But again, like I said, Kuma's too fast for them, and he's just like, boom, 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 boom. And Luffy's seeing all this happen. He's like, now, he thinks that they're just like essentially being Thanos, just being wiped out of existence. And he's seeing all his friends one by one losing, which ties into the Luffy backstory of the fact that, and like I said, back in Enies Lobby, you can remember when he first turned Gear Second, he said he made this power his own so he didn't have to lose anybody else, which ties into his backstory with obviously Sabo and everything. And, you know, you just have it where he's losing all his freaking members, his friends, his Nakama. You know, the one that got me the most was when it was just him and Robin, and when Robin got left away and she's like, Luffy! And then she just gets teleported away. I kid you not, I was about to cry. And I was like, that was heartbreaking to see. Because the first time you saw all of them in utter fear. Like, Robin, I don't think you can say you have not seen a look on Robin's face like that for a long time. Heck, Nami even gave that somewhat face. She even called out to Luffy herself as well. And then after this, you just have Luffy, who has lost everybody. He's all alone. And he's over there just hitting his head. He's like, damn it, damn it, damn it. And he's crying. He's lost everybody, albeit. And he's all alone. And Kuma just comes up to him and is like, this is the last time you'll see me again, which is a reference to what happens to him, or we see what's left of him later on. And essentially, that's when he whisks Luffy away. And then that's when, like Denzel said, you're probably I guarantee you, the first time you're like,
I swear my mom was like right next to me. I was like, oh, don't cry. I'm not crying.
yeah. Now, before we get to Amazon Lily, because we're leading to Amazon Lily, this was the first time I've watched an anime where a main character and his crew get absolutely destroyed. And you're just sitting here wondering, are they all dead?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, you can say Dragon Ball to an extent did it. Hell, they recently did it in the recent chapter of Mora, where the Mora wrecked the entire Z Fighters when he got that new transformed state. But like I said, this is rare, and you barely see where a main character and his group of buddies get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at the end of this arc, I was just like, well, I'm done. I don't know, before we get to Amazon Lily, what were your thoughts on this?
I'm just like, well, you should already know what my thoughts are.
Yeah. Sabaody Archipelago, man, it was a good setup to the Summit War Saga. And to make it think like, oh, we're happy days. And then by the end of it, you're like, it's like that one gift. It's like that one gif or that one video where you have the guys in the car with the stacks of money and they're dancing like, and then at the end, they cut over to them like, that's essentially what happens in the Sabaody Archipelago arc. That entire thing. So, anyways, things are definitely much more, I guess you could say, lighthearted here in this arc, which surprisingly is Amazon Lily. And Amazon Lily, it has a lot of funny stuff, but a lot of serious moments here when we get to the back half of it when it comes to Boa and her backstory and stuff like that, which, at the end of the day, Boa Hancock, Kawaii, and hashtag one of my favorite characters in One Piece.
I already claimed their layoff.
Oh, yes. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Can I not be honest?
Okay.
Okay. So Amazon Lily kicks off with Luffy being totally transported somewhere else. So now it's like, okay, so his entire crew members aren't dead. They're somewhere else. Now Luffy, he's thinking about getting back to the Sabaody Archipelago because he got his Viva card. And he can be like, okay, with the Viva card, I can get back there. Yeah, he eventually sees this mushroom, and for some reason, I forgot if he eats it or just intakes it or just sniffs it in, and he passes out because of it. Now these chicks that look very attractive, named Marguerite, Sweet Pea, and Alfilondra find him, and then eventually he's put into a cage, and also they strip him bare naked of his clothes.
They legit thought he was a woman.
Yeah. See what I mean by funniest scene when this dude reawakened and he's fucking naked, and all the girls in Amazon Lily on Amazon Lily are just seeing this man and his junk hanging out, and all God knows where, man.
They were squeezing it too. They were literally grabbing it too.
Okay. So you know how the funny thing when I said Robin actually grabbed Frankie's Luffy describes his genitalias as family jewels, but you know, you thought you saw your last of it? Oh no. There was a whole bunch of girls touching Luffy's family's jewels. And they were like, why is it like this? And I was dying here. I was like, these girls, man, for the love of God, they do not know what this is. And it's so funny. Now, thank God, old woman, Elder Neon says, women, what are you doing? That's a man. And they're like, man, and stuff like that. And essentially, we find out that men aren't allowed to be on Amazon Lily, which, funny enough, says it in the book, huh?
Apparently not. They're sexist.
Well, anyways, that's mostly something to do with their leader, their empress, which, again, Amazon Lily. Now, if you never, for some reason, never seen anything related to Wonder Woman, I would not be shocked if Oda did not, Oda clearly ripped this from Wonder Woman. If you don't know the origins of Wonder Woman, she was on an island called Amazon, where it was just a bunch of ladies living on this one island.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially the One Piece version of this and stuff like that. Now, Luffy eventually escapes, and the other women chase after him because they want to make sure he's not caught before the Empress shows up. Now, Boa Hancock, before she arrives at the island, runs into Vice Admiral Momonga, and we all know the thing about Ace's execution. Now, the thing is, she's revealed to be a warlord of the sea, and Momonga says she has to come to see Ace's execution, but she doesn't want to, and stuff like that, because, you know, Boa Hancock, starting off now, I'm not trying to say Boa Hancock is the best of characters. She definitely is a very rude and very mean and very self-centered character, because we see she even kicks damn dogs. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. When she finally touched Amazon Lily, there's a dog that comes up to her and she kicks it like a damn football. And I saw this, I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Using them legs of hers.
Yes, very much. Anyways, now she has to go to the execution because the warlords were requested to go to this execution here. Now, she doesn't want to. And the thing is, Momonga's like, listen, if you don't show up, we will revoke your title as warlord. And when that happens, that essentially means we have full will to come at you and stuff like that. Now, also another interesting point about Amazon Lily is it's in the Calm Belt. So the only way you can get to Amazon Lily is if you have a ship that is motorized or has a steam blowing ship which has its own wheels and motor and stuff like that. Otherwise, you can't. But also, again, it's in this Calm Belt, and you could be attacked by Sea Kings. And we know with marine ships, their ships are coated with sea prism stone, which, Sea Kings won't be affected. Sea Kings will think that nothing's there. So, obviously, that's why not a lot of people are there. Anyways, she's like, well, I'll think about it. And she gives her a snobby attitude. Now, in the meantime, we find out her devil fruit power, which is the Mero no Mi, or in other words, the love fruit. And essentially the way her power works is this. Anybody that shows any lustful or any dirty thoughts towards Boa, she can essentially turn you into stone. So in other words, she's like Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she is. Now, Momonga, who's almost affected, stabs himself to worry about the pain instead of getting himself turned into stone. And he says, we will be back and he says, like, we'll be back and we'll ask you again if you will come and stuff like that. So, now, I don't blame men for not trying to have not lustful thoughts of Boa because, god damn, she is one hunk of a woman.
I agree.
And no, she's not related to Robin, even though they legit look alike. Well.
Ish.
Well, when you get to Robin's post-time skip design, you can literally, I kid you not, when I first saw Robin's post-time skip design and Hancock, I literally at first thought, are these two characters like related? Like, I could barely tell which one was which. But the difference is Robin kind of has more wavy hair than Boa in her post-time skip design.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they look like they should be related. Anyways, after Luffy being, chased and stuff like that, another thing too. Hachi is also brought up here. Hachi is brung up here again because the Kuja pirates, they actually shoot these arrows that essentially destroy rocks because they're infused with Hachi in it. And Luffy's shocked, like, I didn't know arrows were this strong. Luffy does not know what Hachi is. Now, we find out Hachi is essentially what Mantra was way back in Skypiea, which we find out later was observation Hachi. Anyways, this is when we get the funny scene where Luffy accidentally falls into a certain woman's bathtub. And, so he falls into, one of the two times Luffy falls into a bath with Boa. This time here and the little One Piece, Stampede little 2 filler episodes and stuff like that. It's just the difference is, in those 2 different outcomes, play it totally different. Here, Boa Hancock literally wants to kill him, but in the other one, because Boa already knows Luffy and she's crazy in love with him, she was overjoyed to see Luffy in the same bathtub as her way in that 2 filler episode Stampede arc, which is hilarious. Now, one thing Luffy does mention is he's like, hey, I've seen that mark before and stuff like that. And Boa, which she takes a very pissful stance. She essentially, is trying to take out Luffy. So she tries to use her Mero no Mi powers on Luffy, but to no avail. What happens, Denzel?
It doesn't affect Luffy because he feels no lust for Boa.
Yeah. Now, eventually, her sisters Marigold and Sandersonia, which, if you ask me, between the two sisters, I'll take Sandersonian, that's the green-haired one. She is hot too. The other sister, not so much. Sorry, I just got to be honest. But the other one,
I can't really take either of them.
Oh come
on. I mean, if I feel bad that they were forced to eat those devil fruits, but
Okay. Anyways, that happens. They come in to protect her, and eventually Luffy finds himself into a tournament arena. Well, a tournament arena, essentially a battle arena, where Boa's like, "You're a man, and you're going to die," because Boa hates men because every man treats her the same. They just think dirty thoughts of her, and that's why she essentially hates men. I can totally understand that. If I was a woman myself in her shoes, I'd probably be feeling the same way. Be like, can there be men that doesn't see me as just an item to look at? Anyways, Luffy's in a tournament, and what happens here is Marguerite sees this, and Marguerite kind of agrees to be friends with Luffy for the time being, but that kind of gets her into trouble with her Empress, and Boa kind of tricks her into thinking that all is forgiven, all is nice, and she tries to put on that very adorable face she so eloquently likes to make a lot, and turns her to stone. And I saw this, I was like, and it's like, see, at first, it's like, how do people like her? She's mean. And even Luffy, which is the funny enough, this is the only time Luffy actually hates Boa to death. And stuff like that. And then after that, I find it that they're totally cool with one another. They're turned to stone along with her other friends, Alphalandra and Sweet Pea. And essentially what happens is Boa's like, listen, why would you freaking care about these people? They're women. I don't care. And stuff like that. And Boa's telling Luffy die, essentially. So what happens is Luffy actually fights one of, I believe he fights the Black Cat. I forgot the Black Cat's name, blows it back easily. And this Black Cat had Haki. So crazy enough. And they're all shocked. They're like, he beat something that can use Haki. Huh. So then next up, Luffy has to fight Marigold and Sandersonian, and they transform into their Devil Fruit powers. Now, Marigold's Devil Fruit is the Hebe no Mi, which is the Snake Fruit model King Cobra. But Sandersonian's Devil Fruit is the same thing, the Hebe no Mi model Anaconda. The Snake Fruit model Anaconda. So one's a Cobra, one's an Anaconda.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you can say, yes, they have the same Devil Fruit, but they're different types of snakes. Now, they also use Haki themselves, and you can see it because sometimes Luffy's attacks kind of repel them, and it doesn't work at the same time. And even, too, physical attacks hurt Luffy, and they're hurting him, like, bad. And he's like, why are these physical attacks actually, like, legit hurting me? Because we know in the past, if you just try to punch Luffy, it's like, oh, that didn't hurt. You know, to him, it wouldn't hurt much because he's rubber. But here, because they're attacking him with Haki, which we find out Haki negates Devil Fruit powers as to an extent, it actually physically damages him and stuff like that. Now, what happens is they eventually tie Luffy up and they hold him. They have him like all tied up in a grip and everything. Now, Luffy later in the fight actually uses Gear 2 and kind of gets the upper hand on them for a bit. But, like I said, cutting back to what I was saying, they actually threatened to slam Marguerite down to the ground and just essentially kill her. because that's the problem if it's like a Deborah's spit when he turns people into statues. If the statue breaks, they're dead. And Luffy, unleashes what is one of the first of many times he does this, and that's when he activates his Conqueror's Haki. I believe this is for the first time when he screams out to say,
"Stop!" or whatever he said.
"Stop it," and stuff like that. And when the other people and other people see it, Sandersonian, Marigold, and Boa, they're all like, he just has the Conqueror's Haki type of thing. And also in the meantime, you see the people in the background just start passing out. The other Kuja pirates just like, and passing out and stuff like that, which is the effect of Conqueror's Haki. We won't talk about Conqueror's Haki till essentially post-time skip stuff, but yeah. Anyways, the fight continues on. Marigold does this one attack which unleashes fire, but it actually hits Sandersonia, and it eventually burns her back. But Luffy not only saves her from the spike pitfall, but it covers her back because there is a marking or scar marking similar to Boa's, mark on their back, and he's like, you probably don't want this to have anybody else seen, so I'm gonna keep this covered. And after Boa sees this, she's like, he's different than most men. So this is when we see Boa actually start to change. If you would like to explain the backstory of Boa Hancock for me, Denzel.
Yes, so apparently she used to be a slave who was saved by Gold Roger's crew, right?
No, Fisher Tiger.
Fisher Tiger. Yeah, but during the time that she was enslaved, her and her two sisters, they were forced to eat devil fruits and stuff, and yeah, they were saved and stuff, and they were given those markings.
Yeah. Which they really do despise and they really hate, and that's why they don't want nobody to see it, because they essentially see it as a sign of weakness to them and stuff like that. It's a very tragic backstory with what happened with them, and it's like it brings up the whole slavery thing, and it's like these celestial dragons, man, they're just freaking awful people. Like just having just slavery people. And the Fisher Tiger thing, which we'll bring up more later when we get to Fishman Island. Yeah, Fisher Tiger legit raided that entire, and raided Marie's was freeing all the slaves, mostly because some of them were fishmen, and stuff like that. But Boa and her sisters, with a few exceptions, that got away because of it. And even Boa says, like, I owe my life to him, even though Fisher Tiger is long dead and stuff like that. I guess you can say, would you like to explain the thing which gives Boa Hancock the reasoning, or the little thing that makes her fall in love with Luffy, that she appreciates Luffy doing after she told the backstory?
I guess the fact that Luffy said that he hates the celestial dragons too, or
Yeah,
yeah, that's where like Hancock just suddenly like gets surprised and just, I don't know, starts developing like some feelings for Luffy after what he said.
yeah. Mostly because he's like, oh, those guys? Huh. I punched one of those guys. And heck, even old elder Neon says, yeah, he's the man that punched, a celestial dragon. And Boa was like, all shocked by this. And she's like, you did that knowing the full consequences of what happened? He's like, yeah, I did, and I have no regrets punching him. They were trying to hurt my friend, or he hurt my friend and he deserved it. And you could say, yes, is Boa very obsessive over Luffy? But at the same time, you can say this, which we'll get into. Okay. First things first, we'll get into it before we talk about how Boa and her feelings for Luffy. Now, after that happens, Luffy kind of has a funny little dinner scene with the other Kuja pirates or the other Amazonians. And he kind of does his typical thing he did with his crew that he does with them, like the whole sticking the little sticks in his nose and stuff like that. Yeah, and he did it, and some of the girls did it as well. And it's like, okay, this is just adorable and funny at the same time. Now, now Luffy also, he told Boa earlier that he needed a ship to get back to the archipelago. And Boa, after hearing the whole story with everything, what Luffy did, he's like, yeah, you can have a ship, I'll give you, and stuff like that. Now, also, Neon brings up to Luffy and says, like, listen, this dude named Firefist Ace is going to be executed, which Luffy hears about, and he's like, Ace is going to be executed? And he tells her, like, Ace is my brother. And she's like, oh, what? And stuff like that. And this is when Neon kind of gets the idea of saying, Neon tells Luffy, like, he's being held at Impel Down, which is the most feared prison in the One Piece world. And Neon, Neon says, you can get there if you probably try to convince the Pirate Empress to take you there. Because actually, she's supposed to be there for the execution. Otherwise, she's going to get her warlord title stripped of her and stuff like that. So Neon asked Luffy, like, could you ask Boa to take you to Impel Down so she can go to the execution and stuff like that? And Luffy's like, okay, yeah, obviously. And this is Luffy saying, I have to put away, seeing my friends again. And I have to go save my brother and stuff like that. Now, this when we get into Boa Hancock's love sickness. Well, yes, sickness to say the least, because you see Boa Hancock like on her bed, sweating bullets, looking like she has some kind of fever going on. And the sisters are all worried, but then Neon comes in, she's like, I've only seen this one time, and I've experienced this myself. Because the first thing she asks is like, hey, Pirate Empress, Luffy is coming. And then she gets up automatically. She's like, where is he? And that's when she's like, I knew it. This is a case of love sickness. And we find out that apparently Elder Neon had the same issue too, and she had to leave Amazon Lily because she didn't want to potentially die from it. Mm-hmm. Because apparently, I guess in the past, there was a few pirate empresses on Amazon Lily that interacted with a man and fell in love, but they never expressed those feelings and they died, I guess, of heartbreak. And yeah, so Boa's going through a little bit of love sickness here. Now, Luffy, she manages to go talk to Luffy in a very, and I mean very skimpy outfit. Yes. Essentially, you could say one of the nighttime bedtime robes for a girl. Yes. It's getting hot in here. Now, Luffy asked Boa, like, could you take me to Impel Down to go save my brother Ace? And she's like, your brother's Fire Fist Ace? And stuff like that. And Luffy, at this point, he's just pleading. He's like, please, please, please. Now, the sisters are like, oh, hell no. This cannot happen. We hate the world government, and we don't want to be nothing near the world government. But then, what does Boa Hancock do?
Luffy, if you truly want to go there and stuff, and I'll be happy. And I'll be happy to take you there.
And then the sisters are all trying to like, what? And then this is when you see her love sickness really kicking in. She's really, and I mean really in love with Luffy. Now, like I said, in a girl's case, I don't think you can. Now, okay, we know Boa Hancock's character. Is she a bit obsessive about Luffy? Yes. There's a cover story where I kid you not, there is a cover story of the One Piece manga where there is a monkey that she dresses up like Luffy. That's how crazy she is about this man, Luffy. Now, yes, you can say she's a bit obsessive, and she's like, what's that other character that was very obsessive about another character?
Wait, from another anime?
Yeah. The only other relation I could be like, it's like the Sonic Amy Rose relationship, where Amy's lovesick over Sonic, and Sonic wants nothing to do with her. The only difference is Luffy kind of doesn't care here about Boa's feelings, even though there are a lot of Luffy ex Boa shippers out there. I definitely would not be shocked if, hey, Luffy is just, I guess, smart enough. If he wanted to settle down with Boa, he could. Like I said, Boa can be quite obsessive, but in her case, she has a valid reason to fall in love with Luffy. She has a valid reason enough to fall in Luffy. Because Luffy said, well, okay, those guys, it sucks that happened to you, but no, with me, I would totally do it again in a heartbeat. And again, I think any girl that would see a guy do something that in that girl's life, somebody did something oppressive and that person did something that a girl would be shocked by, I think any girl would fall for a guy like that. Mm-hmm. So, yes, is Boa very obsessive and crazy about Luffy? Yes, but you can understand why she loves Luffy at the same time. And this is when, and like I said, Boa Hancock is one of those characters, if we're being honest, in the main canon, we only see in this part of the story. After that, not much, unless you count Stampede and the little Stampede 2 filler episodes. But technically right now, she's apparently supposed to be part of something big going for the One Piece future, so we'll be seeing, it seems like we'll be seeing her real soon. In terms of the One Piece story. But Boa Hancock is one of those characters that we do not see a lot, and I do wish we do see a lot. Not because of her design, even though her design is like yummy, yummy snack type of design. But hey, that's okay.
Sorry, I lost it.
That's every One Piece girl design. Big tits, big hips, slim body, long legs. But, that's every One Piece girl for you. All the way from the first alliteration of Nami to damn near Hiyori. So, yeah. Anyways, Luffy or Boa agrees to help Luffy. And essentially what happens when they leave Amazon Lily. Luffy does make a mention by saying like, oh, next time I come back, I'll make sure to bring all my crew, which I think it would be pretty cool to see the crew, because till this day, the crew knows that Luffy did have and hang out and spend some time with Boa Hancock. They just never met her in person, and they don't understand how she feels about Luffy. But as I'm saying, it would probably be cool. It'd be a nice little arc I would love to see return to Amazon Lily with his crew. But at the same time, I don't think it would be good for Sanji. I'll pause the video real quick. Okay, back from that quick interruption. We're almost done with the video, guys. We're almost done with the video. But like I was saying, I think if a certain cook shows up on Amazon Lily, I don't know if he could contain himself.
Yeah, especially after what he's been through in the 2 years, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Now, just imagine if he was transported to Amazon Lily, pre-time skip. I think Boa Hancock most definitely turns him to stone.
Mm-hmm.
So, fun fact, I guess, Sanji didn't get the wish he wanted. So yeah, I really do wish we see a time when I really do hope we see Boa Hancock actually get fully introduced to Luffy's crew and she knows them. But I also feel at the same time, one Sanji will be lovesick crazy over her, and Boa will probably either turn him to stone or turn him down by saying, "My only heart belongs to Luffy." And probably flat out reject him like he got rejected a few weeks ago by Zoro and Hiyori, which was funny, as is. And he might give another silly face in that case. I could definitely see him doing like a Brock thing, and he's like, and Hancock could just look at him and be like, "I won't turn you to stone, but my heart belongs to Luffy." And he could be like, "Ah!"
Or maybe do that weird pose that he did when he found out his bounty was high because of his last name, like, with his butt sticking out and his head out.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh. All I gotta know is this. Sanji would definitely be saying, "How the fuck does my captain get a girl like that?" And he's jealous. But hey, Sanji's got pudding, so it's not too bad.
He did have pudding.
Yeah.
So sad.
I'm still dying for Boa. I swear that's one of my things about One Piece. I just want to see Boa meeting the Straw Hat pirate crew, Sanji getting rejected, and heck, they bring up a funny mention. I know we're kind of cutting into the next arc. We see I think it's only in terms of the anime, how Boa Hancock had this crazy like imagination where she thought Luffy only was about that Robin and Nami life. And he was like, "I already got two girls right here, Nami and Robin." I guarantee you, Nami would probably be like, I swear, eyeballing them. They're probably like looking like, "Why are you looking at us like that?" I could definitely see her like, "You better not take my Luffy from me." I swear, that would be priceless. If there's anything I'm asking for, please, Oda, give us Hancock and the Straw Hat Pirates. That'd be a great crossover. Oh my God. Like I said, Boa's Hancock's imagination on her and Luffy. Oh, it's just the start. Just the start. Like literally, when I kid you not, she thinks marriage is in the form of Luffy giving her a very tight hug. Oh, brother. Brother.
The way she was behaving, they're like, Anna.
Yeah. She's just adorable. So yeah. Anyways, they get on. Now Luffy's hidden in on her back. I don't know how she's not containing herself with the excitement of that.
She's having a good time. She's having a hard time. If you know what I mean.
Yes. Now they get on Momonga's ship and they are headed to Impel Down, which leads into the next arc, and we'll stop here. But a quick little thing. We find out what the other Straw Hat Pirates are doing. So Nami is on a sky island called Weatheria. Frankie is on an island, or transported to an island called Karakuri Island, which is the hometown of Dr. Vegapunk. And that is located in the Grand Line. Sanji literally got probably the worst outcome he could have ever got in his entire life. And that is going on Momori. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to say Momomori. I'm not even going to say it. The island with the very masculine looking people that are feminine.
Okay. Assuming a certain someone's devil fruit power, I assume they were originally women who were turned into men.
Maybe, or maybe they're just got. I don't even want to speak. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, that's also that island, which I cannot speak of, is located on the Grand Line as well. Usopp is on Boyne Archipelago, and that is located in the Grand Line. In this aspect, Usopp literally gets fat. Brook, he ends up being on Nakura's island, but eventually he becomes a crazy, essentially the Michael Jackson of the One Piece world.
I guess so.
Robin, she's transported to a place called Tequila Wolf, and it ends up being a prisoner to these people building this large ass bridge in the East Blue. Yeah. Now, she's later saved by the revolutionaries, which leads her into knowing, obviously, Dragon and stuff like that. Chopper is in the Torino Kingdom, which is located in the South Blue, which is just an island bunch of animals that he connects to. And Zoro, which was probably the best place he could have probably been transported, is he gets transported to the Kuragana Island with Perona right there in his face. And that is located in the Grand Line, and that's also the island. By the end of the Summit War the Summit War Saga is revealed that it is the home of Mihawk. So yeah. Which eventually he gets trained from Mihawk and becomes a swordsman we all love and know today. Yeah, so that's really it in terms of these two arcs. These two arcs were good. The next two arcs are going to be great. Impel Down and Marineford. I can't wait. So, yeah, okay. I think that's really it. But I guess the last thing you got to say is your thoughts on Amazon Lily.
Oh man. Let me just regard. I feel bad for Sanji, but good job, Luffy.
Yes, Luffy got himself a wife. If only he was smart enough to wife her up.
Yeah.
But hey, who knows? Maybe Luffy will be like Goku and just settle down after his journey.
Not like Goku, please.
Holy crap, my battery's running low. All right. Got my battery charged. Okay. Like I said, we're ending off the video soon. Anyways, my thoughts on Amazon Lily. I liked it a lot. It's definitely the build up to the next arc, which is Impel Down. I love the Kuja Pirates because they all have their different funny personalities, and I love Boa Hancock because she just creates a bunch of lovely shenanigans that I just adore about her. Again, it doesn't suck that she's not in the storyline as much, but hey, this is a storyline about Luffy, not Boa. But I would love to see more Boa moments. But like I said, I heard that apparently going forward after the Wano arc, she's gonna have a big role in the One Piece story going forward, along with Sabo and Vivi apparently as well, because that's what Oda has hinted at. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, or we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys like the video. So leave a like if you like the video. Put in the comment section your thoughts on Amazon Lily or Sabaody Archipelago. I guess you can say question of the day. Boa or Robin? There you go.
Okay.
How about this? Boa, Robin, Kami, Nami, and Julie Bonney. Which one of those girls would you take? That's your question of the day.
Better. It's better.
So yeah, and then yeah. So also hit the subscribe button to get more One Piece art contents. By next week, we will finally have hidden the halfway point of the story, and we will be able to get into post time skip stuff. And yeah, also hit the subscribe button to get more One Piece anime review content. I know I don't review the manga, but I definitely review the anime. And apparently Big Mom's going on a rampage that I'm not looking forward to. So yeah.
I'm definitely not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your evening or day or whenever you turn on this video. Yeah. Until then, guys. Peace.
Peace.